In our last episode, we explored the first 4 elements of the African Union Transitional Justice Policy. Today, we will continue the journey by unpacking another 4. So let's go to number 5, reparations. Reparations are society's way of saying, we see the harm and we will help repair it. They can be financial payments, medical care, psychosocial support, and rebuilding of destroyed homes and schools. They restore dignity and help survivors rebuild their lives. From the 1960s to the late 1990s, under King Hassan II, Moroccans lived through a period of political repression, with thousands of people imprisoned without trial, tortured, forcibly disappeared, or killed for opposing the monarchy. When King Mohammed VI took power in 1999, he sought to rewrite history. In 2004, he created the Equity and Reconciliation Commission to investigate past abuses, acknowledge state responsibility, and recommend reforms to prevent recurrence. Crucially, the Commission provided reparations, financial compensation, medical care, and reintegration support to thousands of victims and their families. Morocco's reparation process helped restore dignity, promote healing, and signal a break with decades of reparation. 6. Redistributive justice, or sometimes socio-economic justice. Conflict often thrives where poverty and inequality run deep. That's why lasting peace usually requires tackling inequality head-on. This was the case with Namibia. When the country gained independence from South Africa in 1990, nearly half of its arable land was controlled by white South Africans. Land ownership became one of the deepest symbols of inequality and injustice. Determined to change this, the new SWAPO-led government made land redistribution a cornerstone of social and economic justice. Through policies like willing buyer, willing seller model, where the state purchased land only when white farmers voluntarily sold, and a resettlement program to redistribute acquired farms, Namibia sought to redress colonial dispossession, reduce inequality, and promote food security. By 2020, about 27% of freehold agricultural land, that's around 3.5 million hectares, had been transferred to Black ownership, resettling thousands of families. Now, redistributive justice, as Namibia's story demonstrates, is about fairer access to resources, opportunities, and closing the gaps so marginalized groups can fully participate in society. 7. Memorialization. In 1994, Rwanda faced one of the darkest chapters in history. In just 100 days, more than 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed. 10 years later, the Kigali Genocide Memorial Center was opened in the heart of Rwanda. Today, it serves many purposes: a final resting place for over 250,000 victims, a house of memory filled with photographs, testimonies, and belongings of the dead, a school for peace that teaches how to prevent future genocides, a documentation center that records evidence and stories, and a place of support for widows and orphans. The Kigali Genocide Memorial is a good example of the seventh pillar of the African Union Transitional Justice Policy, memorialization. Memorialization means keeping memory alive even after the violence has ended. It is about honoring victims, recognizing their suffering, opening space for dialogue between generations, and ensuring that justice and accountability remain part of national life. This is why the African Union established the African Union Human Rights Memorial. Like Kigali, it uses memory and education to honor victims, to remind us of past violence, and to show why remembering is essential for healing. Memorialization can take many forms: monuments, renamed streets, updated history books, remembrance ceremonies, or national symbols that reflect shared pain and hope. Memorialization isn't just about remembering the past. It is about shaping a future free from yesterday's violence. 8. Diversity management. Now, when ethnicity or religion fuels conflict, managing diversity becomes essential. Kenya's experience shows why. In December 2007, Kenya's general elections ended in crisis. Disputed results between Mwai Kibaki of the Party of National Unity, that's the PNU, and Raila Odinga of the Orange Democratic Movement, that's ODM, triggered violence across the country. Within weeks, over 1,000 people were killed and about 600,000 displaced. The unrest revealed how deeply political competition had been mobilized along ethnic lines. Mediation, led by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan and the African Union's panel of eminent African personalities, brought the warring parties to the table. The result was the National Accord and Reconciliation Act of 2008, a power-sharing deal. Now, under its terms, Kibaki remained president, Odinga became prime minister in a newly created role, and cabinet positions were divided between the PNU and the ODM. This agreement stopped the bloodshed almost immediately and stabilized the country.